was a fun experience. And like I said, the reason I got to go is because Bo helped me and Daniel helped me and you helped me and Dana, of course, he helped me around. They showed me around. They spent time with me, which I thought was really neat. They had a photographer there that showed us things. And so it was just a great experience. So I'm so thrilled. So I picked a couple different pictures that I thought would be fun to show you guys. Is that okay, Anthony, if I show some pictures? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and let me share my screen. Okay. So can you guys see my screen over here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me, all right, do this. I'm going to say allow. Okay. So here we go. So you should see some mountains, right? That's what you guys see. All right. So let me go to my documents. I pulled up the pictures and then it didn't work very well. So I was like, that's not the one that's supposed to be up there. Zach came in and started putting some pictures on here so I could share those with you. So the first one would be this one. So I was greeted by Charles. He was so happy to see me. Very thrilled that I was there. He went outside and took some pictures with me and let me know how it was going to go. He helped me to get my earpiece on so that way I could be able to speak on stage. And when I first was asked to go, I thought it was going to be maybe just 15 minutes of just going up there and saying a couple things and then going. But then I found out that it was like a 2-hour time on there. And so that was a little bit scary, but Bobby told me what was going to be happening and braced me, you know, that this is the process that we're going to go through. So that was really exciting. I was grateful for him to do that with me. And then let me go to the next one. I'm going to scoot this over so I can see my screen. It's coming up over here. Okay, so the next one was they have a beautiful lobby. So when you go there, you go into the lobby and they've got this beautiful rock there. This building is just like you would imagine it. It's made for the comfort of the people that are going there, but as well as just being a really, if you think of how Jonathan would be in person, this office, I think, reflected it. So in the sitting area, there's a gigantic screen on there, and then it's like a living room, and that's so we can all sit there and watch what's going on the screen and what's happening on the stage. And then behind me is like kombucha on tap and refrigerators, snacks, just everything. And I thought, wow, kombucha on tap. That's like the coolest office. So I was drinking some kombucha and had a really good time with that. And then there's in the restroom. So the women's restroom has an area which is a private sitting area. And then there's a chair in there for where Jonathan will get ready to go out onto the platform. And then there is showers in the bathrooms. There are saunas in the bathrooms. There's a steam room in the bathroom. So it used to be a gym. So they bought a gym and transformed it into an office. So there's an area for getting, you know, the steam rooms and saunas, and then you can go to a different area and there's actually a rock climbing wall in there and you can go climb on the walls. And then there's some weightlifting equipment in there. So you got a whole workout section. And then they have a private room, which is for meditation. So there's pillows and rugs on the floor and this big gong. And so you can go in there and you can actually meditate. And then there's a really big room, which is where I didn't realize how many screens they need. I'm used to like our church area for the sound, but this is actually an entire room with a lot of people in there, and we weren't allowed to take pictures, but there was, I don't know, 10 people in there maybe, and all sorts of monitors on the wall, computers, the soundboards. It was a really, really big production in there. And so we went in there, and that's where they made sure my sound was working. And every single person there was beyond friendly. It was really neat. So that's the lobby. And then we go out onto the stage, and where he's standing is actually where I was standing with Charles. And so that's kind of the center of the stage. And so there is screens all the way that wrap around. It's really neat because this, let me see if I've got, no, that's looking for a different one. It might not be here. There is a, here it is right here behind him. Do you, Jim Bunch is here. Do you see this right here? In front of us, all the way around, is actually you guys on screen. So we're watching everything. So there was people on their treadmills going, there was people cooking lunch. So we're seeing everything that's happening. So just like right now, we can see everybody on camera. In real life, we are seeing everyone on camera. And so everybody's there doing their own thing. And I walk out and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these people. I was not kidding. It was really neat to see all of the people on there. So it just made it more real. All of these people across the United States just there. And it was so exciting. And so, so we saw all of you up there. And then this right here, they have this in several different places. And so when Charles was saying, if you saw the episode and Charles was saying, hey, we got a comment over here from, Anthony going, yay, Terri, whatever it was, or Dana saying, yay, whatever you guys were putting into the chat, we literally were reading every single one. And so when it was time for, the different clips that were going on, we could see them. We were out in the other room, and all of those comments were also on the other screen. And so everybody that was in that building, that was in that room, was reading all of your comments. So when you're typing in there, don't think, I wonder if they're actually noticing, yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that are reading your comments, because they want to make sure that they gear it to you. So this is like live actually happening, but it's not where we had it rehearsed. They told me, okay, he's just going to ask you this and, whatever you want to answer. And so I had no idea until I'm like, okay, the next clip is what? Me saying that. Okay. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, perfect. And then they would say, did you see the comment from so-and-so? I think it was one of my reps. They said something like, the best way I like my solar is like how I like my alcohol on the house. And everybody was just thinking that was the funniest thing that was ever said. And so all in the building, everybody's talking about his comment because it was just so crazy. But everybody sees and everybody is paying attention to what you're saying. So that was really neat. I thought it was neat just because it shows that they're real people having a good time that's, concerned about what you're saying. So at the end, they had us all go up there. So the young lady right here next to Jim to the right, I'm actually behind Jim. The lady to the right is the office manager there named Irene, and she's able to do these neat flips as you saw on the episode, if you saw that one. And so we were all excited that she was going to come out and do some flip that we had heard about all day, and her mom was there. And so at the end, they wanted everybody to just kind of dance around with them on the stage. And so here is Zach and Bex and Josh. That is Josh right there. And so they said, come on out. So they came out, and then Irene's mom is right here beside Josh, and I'm hiding behind Jim. Back there. But they had us do this dance, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do. We don't even know what music it is. But everybody was a good sport, and they participated in dancing. And it was just so neat because they made us feel so loved and at home. And so after we did that, there was another one I want to show you. It was, everybody was just super supportive. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Everybody was just so supportive and loving. And afterward, they wanted to know kind of like my story and where I came from. And so Jonathan's like, come here, sit with me. And he was eating seafood and he just had me sit with him and just enjoy being in his company. I couldn't concentrating on eating. I was just so nervous. I was like, but it was fun. And so I sat with him and ate. Well, he ate and I talked. I'm trying to see if I see the picture here real quick, but afterward, they all wanted to make sure that I had a picture on the stage. And so they brought me up there and Jonathan held my hand and he was shouting, Terri, Terri. And then the other people joined up there. So that was kind of neat. And they had their professional photographer guy that's there. And he came over and took the pictures so that we would have those. Here it is right here. Let me forward this to my Mac. I did this before I started the Zoom and it doesn't look like it showed up. Oh, I hope it comes through. There it goes. See if that came in. Oh, they're all pulling up behind my screen of you guys. Yeah, here's one showing that we're paying attention to everything you guys are saying out there. Let's see. Okay, ignore that one. Oh, it's not coming up. I'll have to send that to you later. Okay, Anthony is texting me here. Anthony, what am I missing? Oh, there it is. How did you get it, Anthony? Oh my
I sent the group photo. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you guys saw it. So that is everybody. But this is what we're seeing on the screen. If you look at my screen with this is what we're all looking at. So I think that's everything. What else can I tell you? Anthony, is there anything else that you?
Well, I was going to say, if you go back to that chat right there, if you see Carol T3, if you've ever been on a Zoom that's company wide, Carol is literally jogging the entire time.
Yes.
During during even like the big, what was the last one? Evolution.
3 days in a row.
3 days in a row, nonstop. She 8-hour days. She was jogging in place the whole time. Me and Dana were tripping. But anyways, that's all I had to say.
Oh yeah, she was. Thank you for sending me the picture. So they were chanting me on, and that was really exciting. But they were fun. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. And then afterward, they actually gave me the tour of the office. They have a gigantic conference room, and the tables are all made out of solar panels, and the wall says Powur on it, and it's white, but at the front of the room, they have this wall and it's just covered in plants and it looks pretty neat. So it was a fun experience. And like I said, the reason I got to go is because Bo helped me and Daniel helped me and you helped me and Dana, of course, he helped me. So having the mentors above me that supported me and helped me to be able to accomplish the marks that we needed to be able to qualify to even be able to speak at the office. It was not because I'm anybody special. It's because we have a really special team of people and they all help me. And I know everybody will help you as well. Everybody is interested in each other's success to be able to celebrate everyone, to be able to do something like that. So thank you again.
Awesome. So what did you do to qualify to go, Terri?
So I'm a part of the leadership council now. So what they do for the leadership council is on your dashboard, which by the way, we can talk about the CRM if there's time, but on the dashboard, there's certain metrics that they post up there. And so one is, about how much money you've made while you're with Powur, right? So that's one of the metrics that they're looking at, or how many people did you recruit into Powur, and how many people did you sell, or how many did you mentor? And so they have certain metrics, and they pick the top 5 people in each category. And so I happen to be in the top 5 range, or in the top 10 for recruiting. And so what they do is they'll look at people that are in, let's say, the income range, or like how many did you sell? And they'll say, okay, these 5 people are the top people for that. And then they'll say, okay, how many people did you mentor? And they'll pick the 5 people for that. But if there's somebody in that mentoring category that's already in the first category, then they'll take that out. So number 6 will go into that category. So that's what they did. So I hit the one for recruiting. And so they asked me if I would be part of their leadership council. So I said, yes, I will be part of the leadership council. And then part of the leadership council is that you have to do a training. And so I said, yes, I will do a training. But then they said, hey, would you come speak at headquarters? So I said, yes, I will come speak at headquarters. And then now they've said, hey, would you speak in Texas? Would you go to Texas and do a class? And so I said, if I go to Texas, yes, I'll go ahead and go up there. So thank you. And then they said, hey, will you conduct a weekly meeting and let us put it on the Powur calendar? So I said, let me think about that. I don't know, guys. So yeah, I'll probably do that. So I'm not afraid of commitment. I'm just such a wild child that I have to now be pinned down to a certain date and time. So, but yeah, I'll have to now. I don't have to, but they're asking, like, can you do this also and put this on your calendar and do a weekly meeting? So I'm excited about that, though, because then I can say, I have an expert named Dana. Maybe Dana will come and teach something, and we could do, and then, like Oscar teaching the canvassing or something like that. Bo, everybody wants Bo and Bo's attention because Bo's just like a rock star. So I don't know if Bo would go on there, but then they're planning to put it as like potentially part of the Powur knowledge base to have my stuff on there. So that's really cool. So I'm excited, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. But again, it would not happen if I didn't have amazing mentors to show me the way and to help me through that. So thank you.
Awesome. So no, you deserve it for sure. So what are some of your recruiting tactics, if you can share that?
Well, I just did what Bo told me to. And Daniel, I told him. So I think, something from each one of you. First with, Daniel did all sorts of different things, just like you guys, to be able to recruit people, right? So he's trying all sorts of things. I think Chris Harris has a couple things up his sleeve that he does to recruit people. So I listened to what they were saying on how they recruit people. So it was not like my geniuses. I listened to what they were saying. And then Bo has a very systematic way where when he recruits somebody, it's got an email and everything is just flawless. And yeah, I can't do that, Bo. You're just like, I can be a lot of different things, but I cannot be a Bo. So Bo has a way to like calm himself and write 50 emails to people. And I'm like, trying to work my pictures over here, right? So we all have our gifts, and Bo's is the follow-up and making sure. So I'm not that awesome as Bo is with that. So I'll just call people and just, touch base verbally or text them. But I do need to master it because I'm sure that will improve my life. The other thing which I thought was really neat was Dana's wisdom, because Dana said to me, what is the use of recruiting all these people if they don't make a sale? And he really had just a heart of gold. And he invited me to one of his team meetings, and I went to that. And he was just working with his people. He was encouraging them. He was showing them the way. He's gone on site visits with them. He will close them over the internet with them. And so I was like, wow, that's a real heart of gold there, to just not only bring people in, but to actually be with them hand in hand, walking through the process and making sure that they made a sale. And that was a really great example for me, because I'm just like, I love them and leave them. I recruited you. Great. I'm sure you could figure this out. I know I'm not that bad, really. Because I recruited Dana, but Dana was pretty much self-sufficient. He's a self-made man. And so, I answered a couple questions for him, but all of the diligence and the follow through with his people, and just making sure that they knew what they were doing and helping them to be able to get that sale. That's who he is. And so he really modeled that very well for me. So I said, okay, I see my flaws from every single person here. So I knew kind of what I had to work on. And so I did that. And of course, Anthony is the book of knowledge. Like, if you need to know anything, what time does the sun come up on Thursday? I can text Anthony, and he's going to know. He's going to know everything. Literally, he blows my mind with, I think I just talked to you today with a question. I text you and then had a question for you, I think. Maybe about Mosaic or something, but I don't know where Anthony gets it. Anthony hears it, and then it's just in there forever. And I'm sure I drive Anthony nuts, because I'll be like, what did you tell me last Thursday? What'd you say about Mosaic? I'm just going to ask one more time. Did you say this? Because I'm thinking it should be this way, and it's really the other way. But Anthony just has this great memory to be able to answer any question that there could possibly be. Right. And then Daniel spent some time with me talking about the automation. So Anthony, I think it was everything that I did that was from everyone else. So I think, something really important if you're new is to learn, right? So we see Tracy blow up group chat like all the time. Tracy is making a sale. Tracy's just always on fire and great attitude. And so it would be great to learn from Tracy. And then Oscar, who isn't here tonight, he can just blow it out of the water with canvassing. And he's just got this knack for it that I can't wait to hear. What is he doing to be able to close those sales? So that's the awesome part about being part of a team, is being able to hear what they do and be able to duplicate that and copy it. And so that's what I did, Anthony. I copied you and Dana and Bo and Daniel, and just copied everybody.
That's awesome. Okay, so, and if you don't mind, Terri, well, how long have you been in the solar industry before I kind of open it up to everyone? So everyone, this is the godmother in solar. Without Terri, there is no solar in California. She literally started the solar industry in California. But so after this, if she doesn't mind, I'm kind of opening up to anyone. Any questions, any rebuttals, anything you want to hear from her, please feel free to throw it at her if she's okay with that. But how long have you been in solar?
I'm going to be going on my 16th year.
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to have brown hair when I got into solar. The things that you're experiencing now in solar, they named it the solar coaster, and it's just like that. And I remember when we had 65 watt panels. I feel old. I remember the day we had. But do you remember those, Anthony? 65 watt panels,
No,
75.
I don't remember being that small. I remember like 120, 135 maybe.
Yeah, it was 65 watts. And so when people said, I want to wait for new technology, like that was an actual thing. Nowadays, it's just they got a little bit bigger. And they're efficient, a little bit more efficient. But all of the objections that you hear today were objections that we had when we first started. The big difference that a lot of us have today that's different than a while ago is, I'll just call it a while ago, is that when people went solar, it was, 65-watt panels, and you would need 40 of them instead of 10. And it would be about 120,000 for a lot of the projects, anywhere between 80,000 to 120,000. And people would be doing an equity line of credit at 7.99, or getting a Home Depot line of credit and financing that, at credit card rates, 29%. And even with that monthly payment, it being over 100,000 or 80,000 for solar, buying it with high interest rates, they would still go solar. And the reason why they would, maybe would have a $300 electric bill, their solar payment might be $290, right? It was called grid parity at that time, where they would just take what they were already taking or paying and switch that over to solar. So it was called grid parity. And that's when people are saying, oh, I'm only saving, $30, back when I was first in the industry, $30 was a really good savings. And so we had to set it up like that. Like today, you won't have a lot of savings, but as the rates go up over time, you're going to see savings. So if you just, present it like that, because what we found is that if you said to someone, hey, if you could take what you're paying today, exactly what you're paying today, and use that as your solar payment, even though you're not saving any money until a rate hike, if you just take that and use that for your solar payment, would you do that? And people would be like, well, yeah, I'd rather do the right thing. I'd rather have solar. And so if you come from that perspective, that people want to do the right thing, and if you can help them to just take what they're already paying and switch to solar, and nowadays they save money, then you're really helping the world. And for the new people that are on here, there's some people that I don't recognize. There's some that I do, but there's some that are new on here. Once you've been doing this for a while, especially if you sell solar in your area, you will find that people absolutely love you because you helped them. And I remember one time going back to visit, I'd helped an older family go solar, and he was this massive truck driver, just big man, big beard, like, oh, manly man, truck driver guy, and his wife, a little Portuguese lady. And so I helped them with solar. I did that with my brother. I went to the house. They had a $600, $700, $800 electric bill, and we helped them go solar. And so I don't know what came over me, but a couple of years later, I decided, without anybody with me, I think I'll just go back to this house. I couldn't remember their number or anything like that because it was several years. But I said, I think I'll go back and see how they're doing. Like, are they happy? And so I got out, I parked behind the big semi that was there. I got out of my car and I turned, and their living room window was in front of me, but way in front of me, because I had to go across the driveway, and they were sitting in front of the living room window, probably watching TV. And he saw me and she saw me, and he leaped out of his chair. This old, big, huge guy leaps out of his chair, flings open the front door, and starts running toward me as fast as he can. And he had this look in his eye, like, I am going to get you. And I literally froze. And I was thinking, I'm dying today. This is the day that I die. I was so scared. And what made it even scarier was the little Portuguese lady running behind him. And she was just running, trying to catch him. And I thought, she's coming to try and save me, but it's too late. I can't move. I could not even turn because it was so terrifying to see this huge man running toward me with this look on his face. And so when he got to me, he stopped right in front of me, and he grabbed me and he lifted me and kissed my face and put me down. And I literally stumbled because, one, I was relieved I did not die. And I was so shocked that, why is this man kissing me? And then right behind him, the wife grabbed me and she kissed the other side and she let go of me. And I just kind of like, oh, and I looked at them and I said, I guess the solar's working for you. They were so happy and so grateful. So what people don't realize is when you help someone go solar, you really do improve their quality of life. And I know Powur is really excited about the green aspect, and that's wonderful. But in reality, you know, Tracy, every time you go to someone's house and you help them go solar, you have literally changed the quality of their life, because that family that could not increase their income, they're retired, there's nothing that they could do. By meeting me, I just put $300 a month in their pocket. In 10 months, that's $3,000. Where is a retired person going to come up with $3,000, right? They don't. But because they met me and I helped them, that's $3,000 that year. And then as time goes on and rates are going up, I'm now saving them $4,000 a year and $5,000 a year. And so like the savings that they have, they could buy a car with. And it's because, you know, we made a difference in their life. So just for the new people, this is a lot of fun and you will make great money, and it is life-changing, and it really is exciting. And something that I like to do, if anybody's been to my Facebook page, they'll see like we like to go ATV riding on the beaches, or we like to go places. We like to go somewhere and then sell solar while we're gone so we can pay for the trip. So I did this. And then while I was in San Diego, we went to some like aquariums and we did some stuff. And when we went to Utah, we went to Las Vegas so we could go do some stuff. And so part of the excitement of being in solar is being able to change your quality of life. Not only are you helping customers, but you know, you're improving your quality of life. And you know, just recently, I think Dana bought a car. I just paid cash for a Infinity Q8 car, QX80, I don't know, just a really nice car. But it does, you know, you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor by helping people to change their life and improve their quality of life. And I've had people where they see me. I was at a festival one time and my brother was in front of me. I got him into solar, and these old ladies walked up and they said, "Do you know Terri Loftus?" And I was right beside them, but to the side. And he goes, "Do you mean her?" And they started screaming and hugging me. And it was because I changed their life. So I think once you start to realize that you're a life changer and that you are helping so many people, plus the environment, but you really do help people improve their quality of life. This isn't, you know, I've had jobs where I get appreciated, of course, and I try to help people at work and change their life. But this is actually one where you change their life. You change their life when you help them go solar, and you literally change their life when you bring them on board. I've had people that in the first 30 days made 13,000. And then one of the guys on our team, he was actually my customer. And instead of selling him solar, I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I have to tell you, you know, you could really sell this and make a lot of money. And I feel bad selling you solar. Like, do you want to join and like get half the project and I'll mentor you? And so he did. And I think we've sold maybe 15,000 in commission for each of us. So that's like 30,000 or whatever it is. But yeah, he's doing phenomenal. So while I was on one of my trips, we closed a deal. So we made more closing the deal than the trip cost, which is really cool. So I'm sorry, Anthony, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay. Anyway, I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we're all here to help you. And I'm just so grateful. So thank you. About the dashboard, the CRM, can I tell you that real quick? So they're trying to do things for our CRM, our dashboard, or our proposal tool to make it so it's more helpful for you to be able to find your customers. So something that I think is really important is Lee ran today. Lee ran's on fire. So we sold one yesterday, but they failed credit. And then he sold one today. We're waiting for those documents to come back. And then as soon as we're done this call, we're getting a bill and doing another one. And I said, Lee ran, what happened? Right? Like all of a sudden it switched. And he said, I've learned how to follow up with my customers. I've learned how to make sure that I have a CRM or a method of follow-up. So if you're thinking, hey, I want to be able to close more deals, but I'm not really computer savvy. I'm like Terri with, I'm not Bo. Then something that I did when I was just focused on selling a deal a day. A lot of you know that I try to sell a deal a day. Even today, I still try to sell it. It doesn't work all the time because I've got so much going on now, but I really like to sell a deal a day. And when you're focused on trying to sell a deal a day, you have to know, who can I close? Who can I help go solar? And so something that helped me as a rep when, and I still do this to some extent, is when I had an appointment, I would write down the name. And if I sold it, it was green. And if they rescheduled, it was blue. And if they were disqualified, it was orange. And if I didn't pitch it, or if I pitched it and it didn't sell, I would make that pink. And so every day I would, do my appointments, and I would put them just on a piece of paper. I know you can use your calendar, and I did that too. And we had our own CRM, but just for me, I would write it on a piece of paper, the date I went, and then the color coding helped me. And if I didn't close it, I would think, why in the world did you not close that, Terri? And I would replay the site visit, and what objection could I not overcome? And I would write those, like, if I do this, I'll let you know. And I'd write all that in my book. And then if I had a customer that didn't show up, I didn't go, oh, well, that's it. I would grab my notebook and I would just look for the colors real quick, like who needed to be rescheduled. And then I would call them and reschedule either for that night or a different day. Or if it was a demo, no sale, and I would look to see, who am I supposed to call back? So I think Lee Rand nailed it today when he told me that he improved his follow-up. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Lee Rand, that you learned that, and that was it. That's okay. Okay. So thank you. Really good to see you. Do a great job. Go. Okay. So back on track. Sorry. But Lee Rand's method of follow-up now has really helped him to be able to follow up with his customers. So if you don't have one, there's no wrong way to do it, just as long as it gets done. That would be my advice. Okay. Anthony, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We still got 10 minutes. So before I kind of open up, so you went down there to talk about objections, right? And me and you had a conversation, I think a couple weeks, I think like a day or two after they asked you to go. And you said, but I don't get a lot of objections because you address them during your presentation, right? So what are some things that you do maybe in your presentation, or maybe if some of you guys are seeing some objections from customers and you want to throw them at her, maybe you can kind of just tell us, like, what's something you can do in, the opening of your presentation or mid presentation that you can do so that objection doesn't come later or after, you ask for the sale or whatever. So what are some things that maybe that you do?
So I think something that I did early on was I paid attention. So when you, like Lee Rand, back to him, how he paid attention to why was he not closing? And he said, okay, it's, I'm doing this with the follow-up, right? So what I would do is I literally had my paper in the car. And when I did a site visit and it did not close, I got in the car and I went down the street and I parked. I did not come home to my family, which, I really wanted to do. Anybody that knows me knows that I have separation anxiety 24/7. I just like being with the people that I love. And so, so I would drive down the road so I didn't look like a stalker, and I would park around the corner and I would think, what is that objection that I did not overcome? And I would kind of replay what happened. And I would say, how did this site visit go? And I would think about how fast I talked, which is a problem for me. I talk very fast. And so I realized, okay, I need to slow down. And I would think about, okay, so they offered me coffee and I said no, and she looked offended. Or maybe when I was going over the proposal, she asked a question and he made her feel stupid. And then when it was time to buy, he was like, what do you think? And she was shut down. Like I would replay the entire site visit in my mind. And I would say things like, okay, she asked a question. He made her feel dumb. She shut down. What was her question? And why did she have that question? Maybe she was like, what happens with that extra electricity? So that tells me I didn't explain net metering correctly. And so when I would go on to the next site visit, I was very self-aware, and I took the time to analyze everything that I did wrong. And so I would then go back to my pitch, and I would put that in there. So if I had a lot of people saying, what happens if I sell the house? Because back then there was people that would sell their house, but the loan companies would not allow them to do a transfer if they didn't pass credit. And so there was people that they were reading about online that they sold their house and the new homeowner did not qualify. That doesn't happen, I don't think, anymore. I think if you qualify to buy the house, the loan company will let you take over the payment, or they can pay it off with the extra money from the increased property value. But back then it was a problem. And so I had to figure out, how do I make this into a positive, right? So now today I may say something in the beginning like, the great thing is it increases your property value. And when you sell the house, you've got that increased property value, and you can use that to pay off the loan, or the new homeowner can take over the existing payment. But either way, usually houses sell faster for a higher dollar value. So now, will I get that objection? I want to, what if I sell my house? I'm thinking about moving in 5 years. No, because I covered it in the beginning. So when you have an objection and you cover that, what would be an objection during your presentation, where it's now you can present it as a positive, right? Because a lot of objections we get, we know that they're going to benefit. And I have a history now that I know they're going to benefit. And if you have solar on your house, or if you have friends, that you'll know that you can, you're helping these people. So if you think of it that way, objections really aren't objections. They're just things that they need clarification on. So if you just pay attention to what they need clarification on, you'll see that you're really helping them. So I had a sales rep over at Acro, as Anthony mentioned, and he had a very difficult time closing. He was not from the solar industry. He had a very, very difficult time closing. So I made a piece of paper for him, and he would come back and say, yeah, they didn't buy. They just want to think about it. And every single time it was the exact same objection. So I just filled out a piece of paper. I printed it out, and I said, every time you go on a site visit, if they tell you that if they want to think about it, I want you to pull out this paper and ask them these questions, because I need to know what objection you're not overcoming, because I need to think about it means that they need more information. So he went to his next appointment, and he came back to the office, and he goes, Terri, I cannot believe that worked. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, when they said, I want to think about it, he would pull out the paper and he would say, okay, hey, you know what? No problem. I'll come back, whatever. But hey, my boss wants me to ask you these questions on why do you want to think about it? Because, I got to fill out this form now. And so what is it specifically? When people want to think about it, it's either the product, the person, or the finances, right? Is it me? No, you're really great. Okay. Well, is it the product? No, it's not the product. It's just, I don't know if we can make this work. And then he would go, oh, well then, okay. You can make it work because we have, financing available or whatever. And so he was able to overcome the objection. So he came back to the office and he's like, I sold it. Right. So, it works when you figure out what is the objection that you can't overcome, and then focus on that, right? If the objection, I had one guy where the objection he couldn't overcome is the wife would get up in the middle of the presentation and go cook dinner. But that sometimes happens, but this happened every single time. So I said to him, you're long and boring. That's what's happening, is that she just is like, I can't take any more of this. He was very offended, but he sped it up and became a little bit more exciting, and he started closing, right? So just, if you keep getting the same thing, it's not them, it's you. And just take that moment to reflect on, what did you do differently? Bo is saying, Terri, can you share with us that list of questions? If you get, I want to think about it. Oh my goodness, Bo, that was like 15 years ago or 14 years ago. But basically it was just, I'll have to think about them, but it was basically just, okay, what is it that you want to think about? If you have to ask them, what is it you want to think about? If there's something they have to think about, you didn't cover it very well in the presentation, and you want to make sure that that you cover that next time. So don't take this personally. I don't want hate mail. I don't want people saying something on my Facebook like, Terri, you solar lady, you're so mean. But I'll just say this. I'll just gonna throw this out there. Might not be you guys, could be all, it's me. It's totally me, but I'll share this with you. That if somebody says, I need to think about it, a lot of times that could potentially mean either they're getting bids, right? And they're going to compare bids. And so you need to find that out. You could kind of do some questions up front to find out. You don't want to say, are you getting bids? Because you don't want them to go, no, good idea. But you want to, like, have you thought about going solar before? That's kind of like, instead of being blunt, maybe just like, what brought me to your house, right? So maybe kind of finding out what is it that they need to think about by either you didn't find out in the beginning that they were going to get bids by asking, have you been looking at solar before? Or are you just mad at the utility? What brought me to your house? So that might be something. It could also be, and this is where I don't want the hate emails, but maybe they don't like you and trust you. And so now they're kind of like, I got to think about it. I mean, just put yourself in their place. If you didn't like them or trust somebody, you probably say, oh, I need to think about this. Thank you so much for your time. It's really great information. I got to think about this. So if somebody's not trusting, that could be it. So maybe just spend a little bit more time with them in the beginning. So when I go to someone's house, I know that they are wondering, what religion is this lady? Because she's got hair down to her waist and it's gray. So is she Mormon? Is she Jehovah Witness? Is she Christian? Is she a witch? Is she a she? Like, there's so many things that they go through their mind when I show up, and I'm just like me. And I know that it's a little bit of a culture shock maybe for somebody. So I let them just look at me, right? So when I knock, I know that they're going to be looking at me up and down. So I just make some nice small talk and excited to be there, and nice house. What a cute dog. Dogs love me. And so I kind of go through that because I know they have to figure out, do I dye my hair, and why is it all white? And so I just let them go through that process. And once they go through that, then I can talk a little bit more. So just know when you go to somebody's house, they maybe look kind of sizing you up. And so you just give them that opportunity to do that, so they can fall in love with you. So, okay. I don't see any questions in the chat. Is there anything else I can answer for you? I'm so happy to be here and excited to help you.
Yeah, fire away, guys. If you guys have any questions or objections that you may hear, or whatever that you want to see.
I don't have an objection, but I've got a proposal that I finished, and the guy is out of town. He wanted me to email it. Well, of course I'm not going to email it to him, but sometimes you run across people who just email it to me.
Yeah. And you know what? That's not the optimal, but in my mind, if I said, no, I want to meet with you, and they're like, okay, no, you're not the only solar lady in the whole world, I'll just find somebody that's going to email it to me. I try to overcome that objection, of course. I don't mind spending a couple minutes. I'd be happy to, I always tell them, oh, absolutely, I'd be happy to do that for you. But is it okay if I give you a call when I email it, so we can kind of go through this together, so you know what you're looking at? And also I can make any changes just right on the fly. So I turn it to something that's going to benefit them. If they're like, no, I don't have time for this, just email it, that tells me they probably are getting a bunch of different proposals. They've already heard it and they don't want to spend another 3 hours with somebody. And so if that's the case, and they're not going to let me back in, I've lost it anyway, right? So now if they're not going to let me back in and it's gone, what is it going to hurt for me to email it? I might end up being the winner in the chicken dinner, right? So we don't know. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's better than losing it. Some people will say, oh, I'm not going to meet with the people unless both the husband and wife are there. yeah, that's always the best. But if that's not going to happen, I don't rule it out. I'll say, great, I'll come right over. Who's the decision maker? I'll come by. Something that I keep in mind is that when you go on an appointment, if you actually are going to their house, before you got there, you have to realize that they are letting the fox into the hen house, that they know your job is to close them, right? They know it's your job to sell them solar. And so especially if you're the first rep that's going out there, they are pinky promising before you walk in that door that you're not going to sign anything tonight, right? John, you're not going to sign anything. We're going to get 3 bids and we're not going to sign anything. Okay. Pinky promising. Okay. Got it. We're going to do that. And then you show up. And if you are like exactly what they're expecting, super salesman-y, then yeah, they may keep that commitment of I'm pinky promise, I'm not going to buy anything. But if they fall in love with you, just let them fall in love with you, right? They didn't know who you were. They didn't know how wonderful you are. And once they fall in love with you, I've had people say, honey, I just don't, Terri, is it going to be cheaper if we go with someone else? And I'm, maybe not. Do you want a good quality job? Probably not. It's, if you want a really good job, then yeah. If you want Chuck in a truck, you might find Chuck in a truck that will do it for cheaper. But if they like me, they find reasons to move forward with me because they trust me. So yeah, that's what I would say, Tracy, is I try to come up with a reason why it's super beneficial for them to meet with me to go over that on the proposal.
Do any of y'all go in there like super salesy? Like, because I don't think I'd get any deal signed if I was very, a conventional salesperson.
Right. Yeah. So I find if somebody goes in before me, of course, not on this team, but if somebody goes in before me, they are probably waiting for another 3-hour pitch that was absolute torture for them and very unhappy. So when I go in and I'm just, wow, I'm so happy to be here, which I am, then it kind of throws them off, right? Yeah, it kind of throws them off. And I'll ask them, have you thought about solar before? And they're like, yeah, the last guy was here. And then I know, okay, last guy was there. By their tone, they did not like last guy. So they are going to like me. They are going to absolutely love me. Do I, am I that lovable? No, Anthony, I'll tell you, I'm a meanie sometimes. It's like, I'm not always lovable, but, I'm not going to be mean and pushy when I'm there. I'm going to be super sweet and nice and respect their property and their time and see if I can help them. And if you do that, then you'll win. Something that's really important. Can I say one more thing? Because it looks like it's a little bit after. Okay. I'm sorry. Forgive me for going 7 minutes over here, but if you treat them right, they will give you referrals. And that's the main thing you want is referrals, because when you get a referral, what happens is their mother has trusted you, or their aunt has trusted you, or their boss or friend, coworker. This person has trusted you. They've gone through the ringer with you and you've come through for them. You've handled the situation. This is a construction project. There's gonna be problems with it, but if you just try your best to do the right thing. I have people that'll call me and say, hey, Terri, you helped my friend. I need you to do the same thing for me. And I'm like, okay, great. Let me see what I can do. And they're so grateful. I did them a favor by helping them. But there was one point where when I saw 10 people, I closed 8 out of 10 and one failed credit and one didn't show up. Right. So I literally was closing 8 out of 10 people that I saw. But they trusted me and they liked me, and then they gave me referrals. So that's the main thing. So my bottom line is just whatever objection you get, try to figure out how to overcome that in the presentation so you don't have that as an objection at the end. It should be kind of like you've closed all the gates and the only logical choice is to go solar.
Awesome.
Hey,
Heather, you
Terri.
had something?
Yeah, I wanted
Yes.
to ask a question.
Go.
Hey, Terri, you remember me, Terri, from before? I don't know if you remember me.
Hi, Bradley.
Yeah.
You have your camera off, so
I think
uh,
times are better now than they were when we when we worked together before.
He's with us with Neil back in the day.
Okay.
Do you remember me, Terry, or no? I don't know if you remember. But
I think
it's
I
been
do.
about 5,
Yes.
6 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to connect with you. I'm coming from Semper Solaris, where I don't know if you know Semper Solaris, but pretty well known military background, the whole thing with people here, and so it's well known and people like it. Powur, it's a big deal. I see it now, but I hadn't heard of it before I talked to Anthony about it. But and I noticed online that it was saying it was the fastest growing solar company in the country, which I think is impressive. But it's a little different in that, you know, we're using subcontractors and we're looking at you know, kind of the reputation. Can you tell me maybe what are some of the unique benefits of Powur, specifically Powur, that are better than maybe other companies out there that sell solar? And I'm connecting with a few people now, and I've got some opportunities going with through Anthony. But I just wondered if you could maybe talk about some of the unique benefits of Powur that I could share with people.
I think knowing your product is really important, and the nice thing, one of the nice, there's like a bunch. I don't think we have time for this, Anthony, but there's like a bunch of great reasons for Powur. So one really, really important one is that you're in it, Bradley, right? They're going to buy from you because they like you and trust you. There's going to be other companies out there that have the Aptos panel and they have the inverter, but they're going to buy from you, Bradley. You're not at Tesla or Sempi Solar or Solar City or Sunrun. That you are a special person and they're going to buy from you. So that's number one. But also knowing your product so you can talk about it knowledgeably, right? So the other company that went out there, let's just pretend that they install just like Powur. Let's just pretend there are other benefits with Powur, but let's just pretend there isn't. Let's just pretend it is apples to apples. Literally, it's the same system. The person that went to their house, they obviously didn't move forward with, and it could be because they were just getting bids or they didn't like and trust that person, right? So if you have extra information that you're sharing with the customer, you look more knowledgeable and like you're there to help them rather than being a slippery salesperson, right? So knowing the product and why is this the very best product? Why is it that you're offering an amazing product? You know, one thing, the Aptos panel, do you know anything about the Aptos panel? I'm not calling you out. I'm just asking.
Aptos panel?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Okay, Anthony, is that still in our proposal tool to be able to?
The Aptos and the REC. We had training with REC a month ago, Bo.
Okay. So the alpha panel, which one is that? Is that the REC?
Yeah.
Okay. Bradley, do you know anything about the REC panel?
Yes.
Okay, what do you know?
Well, we sold against it. I know it's made in China, but I know that it has very low degradation rates. I know that it has higher, you know, per watt. I think there was a 425 panel, and so I think that's higher watts. And so I don't know. I mean, I was selling the Canadian solar to the deals I've been looking at, but you know, I know that REC is. I mean, Anthony was telling me it's pretty popular, pretty well known. Like I said, we tried Semper Solaris. We sold only American products, and so we didn't sell Chinese panels. But I know they are very good, that they have low degradation. So that's about what I know.
Yeah. Anthony, are they made in China?
They have manufacturing all over the world, but Canadian, ironically, is manufactured in China.
Yeah. So
They're Norwegian, actually. They're made in Norwegian. They're Norwegian.
Okay. Well, I know next year they're opening a plant in America. REC is.
yeah. So the Aptos panel, the technology that they're using is what's
REC.
called, I'm sorry, REC, the Alpha, is using a split cell technology, and it's a brand new panel that came out, I think last year, but it's less than a year old. And with that split cell technology, it makes it so it does not get a burn or crack on the wafer. I didn't even know that happened, but this is from their marketing material. And I studied the website and I studied the panel. So if you talk about something like that, good job, Isaac, Split Cell Tech. Yes. So if you talk about something like that, also, I think the efficiency is at 92%. So in year 25, a lot of the other panels are in kind of the 80s, or like 82 roughly. And this is at 92. So when I think it's year 40, it's at about 80% efficiency, which the other panels that are out there aren't that efficient. So there are some really cool benefits to that. There's some people that only sell microinverters, but it's because it's all they have. There's some people that only sell boxed inverters because it's all they have. You can learn the benefits of both. And so you can talk to them like, are you open to options? You know, it may be that they were sold the great technology of the microinverters, but the person selling it gave them information from 15 years ago that isn't correct today. So I would say, learning about the benefits of your product so you're more knowledgeable. The other thing I really like personally is the warranty that we can add onto it, the Solar Insure. It's not that expensive, but I don't want to be beat up in a Starbucks because somebody had a system that didn't work right. But with that Solar Insure, most companies, there's panels out there that have, everybody has a 25-year warranty on their panels, but sometimes like the LG, you had to pay labor. That just recently had come out before they shut down their solar industry. But it used to be with LG, you had to pay the labor. So if something happened, my 25-year warranty, they would say, oh yeah, okay, so we'll send you the panel. You need to pay for the shipping for the panel there and then the shipping back, and you need to pay for the labor to get that installed. And then they changed it to like 440, and then they went out of business for the solar part right there. So, so if you add the Solar Insure, there's no one else out there that's going to have that type of great warranty on it. So just knowing the little nuances about the panels that you're selling and the warranty that you can add on there, that warranty is pretty powerful. People just want to like and trust you, Bradley. And so if you offer them something that, they can like you and trust you and know that you've got their back and you've got this great insurance policy, that'll help.
Thank you.
All right. People are checking out because I think it's over time. I don't mind staying if anybody's got a question, but don't feel obligated. Like I'm not offended. If you have to go, I get it. But I appreciate everybody that's been on the call. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, little shout out as well. Terri, you are a mentor, obviously within Powur. And if they look you up, it isn't Terri Loftus, right? If they look you up in Powur, how would they look you up?
So of course, if you need a mentor, and you've got Bo as the person that recruited you, or Anthony or somebody, you always want to go back to the person that brought you in, right? So if Bo took the time to call you, or Dana took the time to call you, or Daniel or Anthony, somebody, Tracy, if somebody brought you into the business, of course you want to go back to them and double check. So like for an example, Leron, I believe is on Anthony's team, and he needed to know how to sell solar over the phone. Anthony said, talk to Terri. He talked to me and I said, I'm calling Anthony. I'm not going to do that. Right. So, and you'll appreciate that when you're a mentor, you want your people to go to you. And so Anthony said, yes, do it. And so I've been working with him and getting him up to speed. It's spent hours and hours and hours with him. Now, of course, if he went back to Anthony, I'd be like, but you want to go back to your mentor. But if they give you permission to talk to me, for being a mentor for you, happy to do it. They may be busy and can't. So my name is Loftus, Loftus, and my first name is Teresa. So you can find me under Teresa Loftus. And then Tom, Tom, I'm sorry, are you still on the call? Tom asked, how do I get my leads? From everywhere. So Tom, I spent $60,000 last year generating leads. And was it worth it? Absolutely. Of course, I made a lot of money from buying leads. So I do purchase leads. I know Bo may have a program. He used to have a program where you could purchase leads. You know, Bo, I don't know if they can purchase leads from you still, but if, you know, Bo is a great guy, and like we all owe everything to Bo, right? Bo is just compassionate and helped us. And like I could never say anything negative about Bo. So if you reached out to him, leads are very expensive, right? But if you think about it, you know, if you have $1, right? If you gave me $1 and I gave you $2, would you do that again? You'd say, well, yeah, I'll give you $1. You give me $2. So a lead may be $50 or $250. There's times where I've paid $250 for an appointment to go on. And if I close 1 out of 10, I may have paid $250 or $2,500, but I made maybe $5,000. And so that would be $1 to $1. If you are new into Powur, I would say don't do that, because you don't want to take food off your table. And the hardest thing is being stressed about money. And you know, a lot of people have a significant other, and that could affect that relationship with that person. You might be taking food from your babies, being excited about closing it. So I would say if you don't have the cash flow, then you go and maybe door knock. Oscar is the pro at that, and try door knocking to generate leads, or maybe posting on your Facebook account that you're in the solar industry and asking people for referrals. Powur has some great products or marketing materials that are Instagram pictures that show crazy things. Like I posted the one with the old guy, and I don't know if he was like jumping or doing something fun, but like how much money can you save with solar? You may not get any bites from it, but people, you'll be on the top of mind. So one thing that I teach my people is to let everyone they know that they are in the solar industry, not because you want to sell your grandpa solar, which is fine. We just had an install from somebody's grandpa, so it's okay to sell your grandpa solar. But maybe your grandpa lives in, you know, a mobile home park, or he's a renter. And so maybe the people that you love and care for aren't able to go solar. But if they're at work and somebody says, you know, I've been thinking about going solar, they go, oh my gosh, you know, Rafi sells solar. Let me refer you over to Rafi or Larry, you know, and they'll give you that referral, and that will help you to get started. So once you get started, I think it was Dana. It might have been Dana that told me they did this, but every sale they made, I think it was Dana. I'm not sure, but every sale they made, instead of just going, woo, and just spending their money, which we all want to do, right? But they would say, okay, I made this sale and I made $5,000. I'm going to have that money for my family, but I'm going to take maybe 1,000 of that and I'm going to buy leads with it, or I'm going to advertise on Facebook with it, or I'm going to, and so they would use part of that as an investment in themselves to do it again. So that's how I would generate the leads. I personally subscribe to, I think it's called Scribs, which is where you can read books. And so I will be driving and I will let that read it out loud to me on how do you generate leads. And I will get information from books on giving me ideas on how to generate leads. So I've done some kind of crazy things to generate some leads, and some work, some didn't. But you just try different things. I remember, you know, Dana talked about doing events. And I remember doing some events that were boring. Oh my gosh, it was so boring. And I'm allergic to the sun. And so I would get sick and I would be bored, and I would do this event and I would think of every reason I needed to leave. But what happened was I was there consistently every single week. And then the newspaper wrote something about me being at the event. And then the mayor met with me from that event. And every time I did that event, because it was a weekly farmers market, I sold a system. And it occurred to me that, Terri, can you suck it up, cupcake, and go to this event? And you're making money if somebody said, I'll give you $1,000 if you go to this really boring event in the sun. Yeah, I will. Yes, definitely. I'll be there. Right. I'll do it every week. I'll be there. I'm the gal. And so it just took some time and consistency. Right. So, Tom, that was a really long answer for, I do a bunch of different things, but, talk to somebody named Bo, maybe. Oh, okay. All right. Anything else?
Oh, awesome. I loved it. That was awesome.
Okay.
Got the thumbs up from Bo. We passed the test.
Oh, shoot.
He approves we're good.
Yay.
You did
Okay.
awesome. Thank you, Terri.
Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate your valuable time tonight. And if there's anything that I can help you guys with in the future, feel free. I'd be happy to help.